All right, so, this is a SharePoint user group, but this is a fun topic that really has nothing to do with SharePoint, other than it's an Office 365 piece, and like everything else in Office 365, it depends on a lot of other things. And so SharePoint is in the background of this, even though we won't see it. But what I wanted to do is talk to you about Microsoft Sway, because it is a fun little program, and it's a replacement in some ways for PowerPoint. So we're going to talk about that. And I'm going to go ahead and introduce myself, taking a line from The Greatest Showman. This is me. Yeah, you recycle those images over and over again. So I've been in technology for a long time. I've done a lot of different things, and I don't want to really age myself, but I took BASIC and Fortran in college, and as soon as I got to my first job, they thought I was a computer expert. So they put me in charge of a couple Cray supercomputers, and there were some PCs and Macs starting to come out, and so that's where I started, and I broke things left and right. And that's how I learned about technology, is just breaking things and fixing them. And eventually I thought that's kind of a bad way to go about it. So I started building things for people, and then started teaching people. And I've been really passionate for training. I was on the road for 12 years doing a lot of Microsoft certification trainings, boot camps, and I've trained things like Photoshop and all kinds of leadership programs, accountability, and so forth. So I still keep that side of me going, because I create some courses for Pluralsight, Pluralsight.com. They have over 6,000 courses now. When I joined them 6 years ago, it was about 200 courses. So they've grown quite a bit, and they're a great company to be associated with, but they also have great content, not just mine. So I like to go to a lot of events, and recently my son, he wants to become a motivational speaker. So I've been going to Toastmasters and learning how to speak better, which you may not see evident yet. I haven't been going long enough, okay? Another thing is I really like being around my family. I have 7 grandkids. And actually, I got married when I was 12, but that's how I got 7 grandkids so far. A lot of fun with them. Also, I like to ski in the wintertime. Snow Basin just closed on Sunday. It was kind of sad. Last day for the year, put away my stuff. And then when I go to California, I have a couple surfboards at places. I like to do that. And I just love to travel and see new things. I speak Japanese, and so I love Asia, and that's me. So let's talk about Sway. So Sway is really a multimedia enhanced way to do what PowerPoint does. And so it's a little bit different, and we're going to talk about what's good about it and what's bad about it. And I think I'll sell you on how to do some great things in Sway by the time we're done. So let me just ask you, what is good about PowerPoint? You've all used PowerPoint, right? Is there anyone that hasn't used PowerPoint in here? Okay, so what's good about it?
Transitions are easy.
Transitions between slides? Yeah. Okay.
They're not fun to watch.
They're not fun to watch. Wait, we haven't got to the bad part yet. What's the good part? If used correctly, it's good. Okay. It's easy. Okay. Okay. What else? Anything?
Yeah, to take a concept and present it, write down, put it in an outline, throw some pictures in. It's pretty good at just getting to that point.
The packaging. Yeah.
Great for a quick flyer you might put together in Word. You can do it so much
Yeah.
faster in PowerPoint.
In fact, we have a client that wants their help done in PowerPoint, their help files. So, yeah. So that's kind of the good about it. What's the bad, Martin? So you get up there and you see the speaker. He starts up his slides and says 146 slides, and you're like, oh my gosh. Yeah, you could get killed by PowerPoint.
The bullets are old.
Bullets are old? What do you mean?
Bullet point after bullet.
Oh, okay. That technique is kind of an old style, right? Okay. What else is bad about it? I thought it was interesting that you brought up it was easy, but it also can be quite complicated if you want to go into it really deep. So it does have that ability to really fine tune, you know, down to the littlest thing.
I think it really is complicated as long as you want to make it complicated.
Yeah.
It's easy if you want to make it easy.
Yep. Okay.
It seems like it's kind of based on the user, but it can be like overwhelming if you're trying to put too much, you know, a lot of movement, a lot of action, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a little overwhelming with it.
Yeah, it can be overwhelming. And, you know, some people put so much into it that it makes it distracting from the topic that you're talking about as well. So those are the things we've kind of had to put up with PowerPoint. And so let me tell you what Sway is all about. So Sway isn't meant to replace PowerPoint, but it is another alternative. And the reason why is because some of the good things are that you can quickly create things. This is so that you can just throw images, throw text, pictures really quickly and get it out there. PowerPoint, you kind of have to move things, massage things really good, but this is made to just take little objects and put them into a nice slideshow or even a web kind of presentation where it scrolls left and right, those kind of things. You can really put a lot of different types of media in, and that's kind of what I like about it, the images, video, audio, and most importantly, embedding. So if you've got a YouTube video, you can go and get the embed code off of it and put it right into your Sway. You've got the ability to link up with Microsoft Stream. So if you've got your videos, your training videos in there in Stream and you wanted to send one out in your newsletter, that's what you can do. You can just link it right to the Stream video and it's there. So really nice ways of getting media in. Multiple ways to view it. So we're used to seeing PowerPoint as slides, one after another. And you can also view this in a vertical or horizontal way. So just like a website, when you go out there and you kind of scroll down the page and they've got all these neat graphics and stuff as you go down, it will do that. Or you can go from side to side. We'll see all those in a minute. Also, I think one of the most powerful things about Sway, yes? This is PowerPoint right now. So, you know, this is still pretty, but we're going to see what Sway can do in a second here. So one of the greatest things I think about Sway is the ability to share it. Multiple ways to just get it out there. So if I wanted to make posts, which I just did one this morning, that was a post, I was up in Boise for their SharePoint Saturday, and I told my class that I would post one with Sway. And so I made a post on Twitter with Sway, and I just want to, whoops, wrong keyboard, that won't work. Let me just show you what that looks like real quick. So let's see here, so this was my tweet today. And it was really easy to just make a really quick Sway and put it up here and post it in here. It comes out like this. When you click on it, it comes up and it shows you basically, well, I'm presenter, so I mean, I'm the one that made it, so it's going to show me something different. But it will run through the Sway, and I'll show you that Sway in a minute. But very easy to get out there and get something up on any site. You also can do specific groups of people. You can just do people in your organization. But it's really nice to be able to get things up really quickly. And the bad parts about it. So we're going to talk about things that are a little frustrating once you've been working with PowerPoint and you expect things out of Sway that really aren't there. So let's go ahead and do a little demo here. Let's get out of that one and go right into the Sway. Oh, look at that, I got a reminder. I better get to my meeting here. Yes. All right, so let's go over to Sway here. So there's a couple ways that you could get here. You could go to, sway.office.com, I think it is, but you also can get there through your menu of programs. It might not show up as one of your highlighted ones, but as you go to all apps, you can see it down here right next to Stream. So you got Stream and Sway. Stream is to keep videos in, and Sway is to do presentations. And you'll come up to this site here. So 3 different ways to create a Sway. First of all, you can do it with templates. And, Microsoft templates are great, except somebody at Microsoft thinks they know what everybody's going to use, and they put out these templates, and then you get in there and you go, there's nothing here that actually relates to me. So you can use them, though, as a good starting ground. So when I look at these templates, you'll see that a lot of this is kind of based around maybe a creative artist type person rather than technology. Don't know why that is, but if we wanted to do something where we wanted to do, say, a news release, you could actually start with the announcement template and then build from there. Take things out, put things back in. So that's one way that you could use these. You don't have to have a exact match. In fact, Vacation Story, since it's set up to actually show a lot of pictures from our vacation and describe them, that might be a really good thing for when we go and visit, one of our offices in the world, and we want to make sure that we've kind of captured the event. That might be a way to show it just in that template. So don't think that just because they're named this way, that's the only thing you can do with them. For instance, these newsletters, there's a few of them. There's this newsletter here, there's an internal and external newsletter, and they're all kind of the same but have different pieces to them. So if you're kind of having a writer's block, you can go into one of these newsletter layouts and start editing it. And what you'll get is you'll get to see kind of how they've made one. And then you can decide, is that really what I need? Or as I come down here, maybe this one here I don't need, so I can just highlight it and delete pieces out of it. It's easy to go in and change things, add backgrounds that aren't there right now, or take away pieces that you don't really like. So it's very easy, and you'll notice that as we go through and build one of these from scratch, each of these pieces are kind of an object, and we could take that object and move it somewhere else in the Sway. We can do certain things to just pieces of it. All right, so that's one way to do it, is by templates. And another way is to start from a document. This is kind of cool, and I'm not very creative, so it's really good when I have a document in Word, it looks pretty crappy, and I want to just make it really nice looking. So let me just show you what this document looks like before I start. So here's my document. This is even more creative than what I would do because it has like color, in the headers. And so it could be pretty boring, but as long as it's in some kind of a shape where you've got paragraphs and you've got breaks in them, it'll go and figure out what you want to do with this. So let's see how this one comes in here. Let's look up where am I at here? Demos, let's go to Sway. Okay, maybe, there we go. So sponsorship proposal. Oh, I better close it first. See, that's how you know that these programs all talk to each other. Won't let me open it while someone else is using it there. All right, so it takes that document and no longer boring, it creates a Sway out of it. Looks much better than what I could have done, right? So there we are, and immediately we could go and share that in an email or out on the web or wherever we want to put it. So this isn't the way that we have to stick with it either. We can actually go in and edit this. Just because it got it to this point, we could actually go and change things like the style. Here's where we see that it can vertically scroll, so you've got something that's going up and down. you could do a horizontal. So now we've got it moving from right to left, or left to right, backwards here, kind of like that. And you kind of need the right kind of content to do a horizontal. And then we could go to slides, just like PowerPoint. So every time I move, it's going to go to the next piece. So it depends on how you want to view it. Let's go back to vertical for a second, because that'll show us everything on the screen. Right now, it's showing me that this is my current design, my theme, you might say. And I can pick from other themes down below. You can see that there's different variations, and if I click on them, it's going to show me what that's going to look like. I can keep scrolling over to see different kinds of those themes over here, and then I feel a little more creative as I pick things, right? All right, so once I pick the one that I think is okay, then I can go in and customize them even further. Right now it's saying the curated one, or the one that I picked, is the one that's selected, but I could go into custom, and I could actually put in a color here. So let's say, let's not go that high. Let's go 25, comma, 119, comma, 45. Let's try that. So there's a green. Okay, I can use that as my basic theme. Then it shows me all the different possibilities with that color. Why is that important? Because if you have a company color, you know what it is, then you can match all of your templates and things you do to that color. And then based on that, you can come up with different arrangements of it. Not sure I'm all black is a little hard. There we go. Okay, so now it's in my company colors, and it looks nice, and it's ready to send out there. Now, if you want to just find out if there's something really funky and good out there, you just hit the remix button, and it will just keep throwing different suggestions at you. Wow, flowers. Hit it again, we get another view. And notice it changed this one to horizontal. So it's just trying to suggest different ways that we could do it and present this to people. Lots of different ways that that Word document could look than where we started. All right, let me close this down. Whoa.
Print it off to put it on your websites, to send it email?
Yes.
Or any of them?
Yes, any of them. Why did I lose my presenting here? Okay, there we go. Let's go back to Sway here. So we're going to start one from blank, but I want to show you one that I created. I like to cook. That's one of my hobbies. And so I'm always putting food in everything I do, my posts, everything. So I figured, why not make a Sway out of my cooking? And I was making spring rolls. And so I decided to make one out of spring rolls. And I'm going to go ahead and play this so that you can see what it actually does. So this was the how-to slide template. I took that template and I started to use it. So it had this picture already in there. It doesn't really look like a spring roll yet. I could have replaced this background, but I wanted you to know that that's how the template started. And then I went and added things that I wanted. So I added my own picture of spring roll and my own title. And then you can see that every slide can tell you something. Another nice thing about this is you can have them automatically flow. So when I save them, I can have it automatically go slide to slide, 5 seconds per slide or 10 seconds per slide. The problem with that is this slide right here is a video. And if I say 10 seconds, that video may start just barely and then end. Or, you know, I can't say for this slide 30 seconds and this slide a minute and a half. It has to go all slides or one time. So there's one of the bad things, or things that kind of limit us with this. But this video right here comes from Microsoft Stream. And I just click on it and it's playing from Stream into my Sway. And the same thing, if I share this externally, they would have the rights to see that video. So kind of interesting how that works. All right, another thing that I added, whoa, get off there. There we go. So I put down my possible ingredients and kind of have another video of me showing all those ingredients that I used and then showing an example of things you could put in them. And this is just another video of how to prepare that rice paper by soaking it in water. Here's a comparison slide. So you have two different sides to it. You can pick one or the other. You can show this picture, then you could go back and show the other picture. So I could have two things on a screen and showing maybe two different brands of something or a before and after. Lots of ways to use that one kind of slide. And then I have a way of compacting things into the same object. So I've got two videos here and I've got text. It's really easy to compact those, and I'll show you. It's kind of like when you're using Designer, if you're used to using SharePoint Designer, and you've got an if statement, and then if you don't follow down in the same line, it's going to put an if statement somewhere else, right? Your brackets have to go right or left to make sure you're in the right object. And it's kind of the same thing with this between objects. So then I went into sauces and showed people all the different sauces they could use. I've got a picture on the top, a video on the bottom. So that's it. Enjoy your snack, right? All right, so Sway likes to put in there that they made it, even though it was me that did it.
Can you change that?
I don't think so. All right, so we're going to start from scratch. We're going to create one, and let's see here. So here's how it starts. There's nothing on the screen, right? Here's some bad things about Sway. If you've got a headline piece here, and you put your title in here, let's just say, oh God, I keep typing on that keyboard. I'm not going to get anything out of it. Let's just say this is my Japan trip. Now, if I go to the background and I actually find one that has text on it, I'm going to look for that first. I'm going to just search across Microsoft. They have suggested things based on the different things it thinks I'm talking about. I'm going to look for Japan trip here. I'm going to find one that has text on it because you'll see how bad this can be. If there is, oh, here we go. How about this thing here? All right. So now I can flip over to my design and see what's happening here. I've got Japan trip, and I can't see the text that was on that. So let's go. Ooh, whoa. Where'd it go? Oh, I can't hit that button. It's the wrong. I don't know how I got out of that now and how to get back to it. Share. Okay, I don't know how to make that large. I guess maybe it's this one that I have to use. Ah, there we go. Goodness, wrong button. Okay, I'm going to go back to my storyline, and this picture here, you'll notice on this object it says focus points. When I click on that, I can actually choose where to focus. Right now, it's focusing kind of at the bottom on its own. It automatically picked that. Let's say I wanted to show this text. I can click up here, and I can click all the way to the end of it here, and maybe right down to here. I want at least all that to show. Now, if I exit out of that piece and go and look at it again, in my design, there's what I told it to focus on. But here's the problem with these things is you're going to get text over the top of text, and there's no way to actually take that text and have it go down at the bottom right or bottom left. It's just going to go where the design says to go. So here's what I've tried to do. I tried to go back and say, well, okay, I don't need the text on this because it's already on my slide. So I take this away, maybe. Oh, goodness, I can't get that to go where I want it to go. Okay. If you take the text away and just leave it as a slide, that really looks nice because it's showing just what I want to see. But the problem is when I save this, it's going to be called untitled. So if you don't have a title on your first header, your whole slideshow is not, doesn't have any title at all. It's just called untitled. So you're going to get a bunch of them and you won't know what's what. So you always have to have a title on your first one. So make sure that your backgrounds are nice and you can actually work with them. All right, so I'm going to get rid of this background. Notice that I actually, if you click on this button here, it's going to expand. So now I have two pieces. I actually have the text and I have the image. When I click on the image, I can get rid of that. And then it still will let me add a background, add a logo in to where I want it to put on the slide. So, oops, I don't want to type on there again. All right, so the best thing we can do on here is to add backgrounds that don't have text on your first slide. Just remember that. If I drop this down, I can go to different places to find those images. Unless you can go to YouTube and grab something, but please be aware of licensing. So I'm going to go to my OneDrive and grab some things here. I don't know how fast this is. All right, so this is probably a good one I could use. Just pull this over and drop this as my background. And again, I'm going to go into the focus point. And for this one, I'm going to tell it to use the entire image as best it can, depending on the design I'm on. That way, when I go into my design now, I got something like this. Now, I don't really like the black with the white type, so I can go to my styles and I can change that to be another type of look or feel. And notice how it drops that down to the very bottom instead of up at the top where we were. So I can't choose really where those words are going to show up. It's based on the theme that you're picking. That's kind of frustrating about this. Okay, so let's pick that one, and then I could actually go ahead and customize that. I could use the color options from the background. That's pretty cool. So it takes the background and it picks out the different colors in it and then says, oh, you must want something that matches like these colors here. So it finds those contrasting and colors that are appeasing. Oh, that's kind of a different one. That'll put a background probably. Huh, not bad. All right, so the next thing, let's go down a little further and add something to it. So we've got our first slide. We've named it Japan Trip. So when we save it, it's going to be called Japan Trip. And now I'm going to add something else onto it. Now notice where I'm at with my mouse. If I come down and I click into right here, it's going to say add something. So I can add text, image. I can go into the media and add videos, audio, whatever I want there. Let's go and do, let's see, for this one, let's do an image. And let's just take this one here and add it in. All right. Now I can insert more content, so I can just keep going. That's why it's really quick. You can just start adding things left and right really quick. I can also do things like if I add, let's add another image. And we'll add this one here, or I'll add 2, 3 of them in. So now it's adding 3 different images. They all are separate, but I can actually link them together by checking the box over on the right-hand side. I can have all of them selected at the same time, and I can choose how I want to group those. There's a stack, which makes it so that it looks like a stack of photos you dropped on a table, and you can click on it and it shows you each one underneath. There's a grid where it just shows them all in a nice grid, and there's slideshows with the images at the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and choose that one here, the slideshow with images at the bottom. I'm going to look at my design and see what those look like. So that's what it's going to look like. I can click on it and go to the right or left. I can also click on an image down below and get to it. I can also choose like my focus points. Let's say that's my focus point there. Okay, so this is a vertical scrolling one, and I can just go like that. I told it to make sure it could see the tunnel right there, so that's what it's focusing on. Okay. All right, videos. If I go to add another item in, and I go to media, and I add a video, there's 2 different ways to do this. So I can add a video that's on my hard drive, and then it's going to basically compress that and make it ready to show to anybody. Or I can do a stream. Either one works. I think stream takes a little longer to actually come up and show when you're sharing it out. But if you already have your videos in stream and that's where you want to get them from, it's nice to just use them from there. But I want to show you both ways. So first of all, I'm going to grab one that is a file. Oh, I already have that up. Let's go to, so if I put it in here. Oh, Ron, you big cheese. Okay, so I'm going to add this one. It's just a file out on OneDrive. Okay, so it says your video is preparing, processing. It might take a while, but you can continue to work in Sway and do things to it. So, what's that? Which one? This one? No, this was just captured. If it had been a video, it wouldn't be as good looking, you know.
Is that the inner workings of sovereign?
That is. That's us working on things. That's when we're planning our power apps. All right, so now I'm going to do one from stream. So I'm going to go into my media, add another video, and this time, oh, sorry, I'm not doing it that way. That's not stream. So let me go to stream and show you how this video gets here. And this is just like if you took one from YouTube as well. So let's go to our stream. And let's say we go to my content here. All right, I'm going to take this one here. So over here on my stream videos, I can choose share. And this is where I can actually get an embed file. I can choose how big I want that to be on the screen, and then it will make the code for it. I can choose if it auto plays or if it's responsive on or off, where to start it. If I know that there's a bunch of junk in the beginning, I can start at a certain place. So it's got a lot of controls. It also will let you do likes, and you can also favorite it and put it in your bookmarks and stuff. So I'm going to copy the code from here. I think I clicked on that. I hope I did. Let's go back to our Sway. Where was our Sway? Wow. What is going on there? Don't know what that's doing. Is it?
So Ron, when you're creating these and you're sharing it, it could either be in your Office 365, it's stored in their Office 365, so I can share it with my team.
Yes.
That's by default, that's gonna work pretty easy, right?
Yeah. What am I getting here?
Share this with on LinkedIn.
Yes. I actually put one out on LinkedIn today. I'm trying to figure out what it's trying to do here. Stop sharing. No, I don't want to stop sharing.
Slate is actually a product that you can get without like an Office 365 license. Just having a Microsoft account gives you access to Slates. You can make public Slates.
Understand what's
share
going on here.
everybody just by giving them the URL.
Oh, really?
Can't move this out of the way.
So you got it on your website. So you have.
Yeah, well, everything he's doing is via a website.
Okay.
You can publish that, and just gives you the URL, you can share that URL anyway.
So that was the coding shows, right? Was that what you shared?
No.
No, that was for video, but you could share from Stream. You could share video as well. But this is Sway. You're packaging everything together: your videos, your images, your text, and then you can share it.
So when you did it with LinkedIn, were you just sharing the URL?
No, I'll show you. Let's go ahead and put this in first. I'm going to show you the embed because we got the video in from an actual file. It's all done. And now we're going to embed. And I copied the embedding code from either YouTube or Stream or wherever. And I just paste that in here. And now that's going to bring that one in. So let's look at it in design. We'll see what that looks like. So we've got one video that comes from a file, and we can click on it and start playing it right away. And that's why I say this sometimes plays a lot faster than a Stream video might. So I'm going to pause that one. And then we play this one. This is coming from Stream. Notice it has the favorite icon on it. We can also bookmark it. And it has to go to Stream, load it up, and then play it. This is a shorter video, so it's a lot faster. So 2 different ways to put videos. Now, your question is, how would I share that to LinkedIn? So I click on my share up here, and I can choose anyone with a link. And you'll see a little LinkedIn button right there. Click on it. I'm not going to share this for real, but this is what happens. So it says sharing a post. Okay, and then you go ahead and talk about it. You can add in all your hashtags and you post, and it's done. So very simple to get things out there really quick. And they don't look like everybody else's post out there. So the advantage of this, people are using this for internal newsletters where they have things happening all the time and people aren't reading their newsletters. And so they're making them look a little better, and they have maybe some sound in them. They have videos and images so that people are entertained by the newsletter. The unfortunate thing is that if you're not embedding it on, a website, people have to get an email with a link in it. They have to click again. And a lot of people complain that, isn't there some way to just send it to them and they open it and it plays, because they want people to see the newsletters and read them. But still, people are going to have to choose if they want to see it or not. They're either going to have to go to a place and see it, or they're going to have to click on a link.
Can we put a link to this on our internet page and say, here's the Sway for the newsletter?
Yep.
I'm doing a newsletter right now.
All right.
Please.
Good. Yeah. We're not publishing that out to LinkedIn. All right, so those are 2 different ways to add that type of media. And just to let you know that, let's see here, we've got other things we can add. So we can do a grid of things. We can do that comparison slide that I showed you where you can have one thing on one side, one on the other. You could have, last month's employee of the month and this month's employee of the month. There's all kinds of ways you can use these things. All right, so I think that a good one to do is, this is a grid, and I'm going to add just a whole bunch of pictures in here. There's got to be food, so because everything I do includes food. Oh, you got to see my ramen I had. That was an awesome ramen. And okay, if we get a bunch of these, we'll make it a little better. Okay, I'm adding 10 images in. It is, but there's not the granular adjustments that you can do with PowerPoint. So if I want things to just, move over here and appear coming from this direction, and there's none of that. So it's very much get it down, get it out there, and share it. Yeah, it is. But I think it's more engaging for most of the people that are, the millennials, definitely. This is much better communication way than it is for some of us older guys,
PowerPoint is very much built around the idea of a slide and a slide and a slide, and
Yeah.
so it does a lot of work dealing with those transitions, going from one to the next to the next, or what do you do while you're on a slide, where Sway has kind of a bigger image saying we don't necessarily need slides, we could just scroll, or we could put a whole bunch of, like what you're about to show with this grid or the card pile, but you just put a whole bunch of information kind of right on top of each other or around each other or something, and the idea that you have a fixed size slide that you can work with, they've very much gone away from.
Yeah.
So like, you're saying at the beginning, if you want to just do a direct comparison with PowerPoint, I think you're doing a disservice to Sway, because it's trying to tackle a different problem.
Right. Yeah, it is. It's much more graphical, multimedia based, and so it is a different thing. So here's our. Sure, you could. Yeah. Especially you could use this vertical, and just talk about things as you go down the screen. You could still put it in a slide format. So it could be slide after slide.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. You can also, so if you go to conferences and you have a booth, you could have something running here in the background about your company, and it will do that really easily. Create something really nice. So this is still in the vertical. I haven't been a big fan of the horizontal because it's so hard to find things that actually scroll and they fit the screen right. Images will be kind of off here. Watch.
Well, it kind of messes with you too. Like scroll your scroll wheel down and everything.
Yeah, everything goes to the right. So there's some of the images, but I have to go a little further to get the rest of them. So you're kind of, it's a continuous screen basically. It's not bad or good. So let me go to, yeah, it could be, yeah, but it's going to go across, then it's going to go back, across and back. Yeah. So here's slide view. So now everything is in a slide.
So it's chopped up pictures and such.
Yep. Put them in a slide. So the grid's no longer there.
It's really comparing it to a website where you've got divs of stuff and you're just kind of showing those divs of stuff in lots of ways. So you put this on your phone, it's going to kind of translate, make it a little easier.
So this is one thing I like besides that ramen, which it was so good. And it was like $5. It's really good. It's a big, like almost a pork chop kind of, but oh, it's an egg. Yeah, egg. There's compressed fish. There's all kinds of good stuff in there. All right, so I'm going to go up to the options here and the settings for this Sway. So the settings here, you can uncheck things like viewers and co-authors can duplicate this Sway. I may not want anybody to duplicate it and get it out there and have it turn into a lot of different sways that shouldn't be happening. People could change them. Viewers can change the layout of this sway. Nah, I don't really want that. So you can turn on and off the things you want. But down at the bottom, there's an autoplay. So I can turn that on and say I want to autoplay it. Right now it's on 5 seconds. and it kind of goes in increments. So you can't get 7 seconds. You can only get 5, 10, 15. That's the way the slider works. Sorry. Loop continuously. So if you're in a booth, you just have that looping continuously. There's no save button. You notice as you make changes, it happens right then and there. And now if I go into my play, which is the real way that it'll be viewed, it's going to show every 5 seconds. It's going to switch to the next slide. And notice we've got those things on the bottom. It's not even going to go to those. So some of the slides don't work with, something that's just going on and on. These videos will never start because nobody's clicking on them, and there's not enough time for them to start up, even if I had them on auto run. So you got to choose how you want your things to come out and what they're for. Okay, so if I sent that to Twitter and somebody clicked on it, they'd see the same thing. Any questions? What do you think? Are you going to go sway a little bit when you get done here? I really think that, you really should play with it. It is a lot of fun to use. Like I said, I'm not a real creative person, and at least I get, some creativity, at least out of this. But I really challenge you to go and use Sway. You'll start to use things like Stream, because you probably haven't used Stream before either. But it's a great place to put all your videos where you may have training for HR purposes or new employees, and you basically can just have them go to that one Stream channel and see all the videos on a certain thing. So there's a lot of good in these little pieces of Office 365 that we don't really dive into because we're so busy with SharePoint, and you have to be on Teams, and so we're kind of lost with these other things out there, but there's good things out. So that's really what I wanted to show you, and I hope that it's just kind of given you a feel of Sway and hopefully helped you to go out and do something creative and use it somewhere. I know, Stacy, in your training, it'd be a great thing to have running during breaks, and things like that. So, yeah. Yeah, good. Okay, thank you. Yes, Eric.
File format's gonna be, obviously, a doc, but
Uh-huh.
could it take a PDF, for example, or doc?
Good question. You mean to create one from that? Yeah, there's upload, but to create, to start from a document, let's see what kind of thing. So it'll take PowerPoints, PDF. Yeah. I've never tried a PDF. I've tried a PowerPoint, which is really interesting because it throws it into its own creative mix of the PowerPoint. If you have lots of animations, it kind of messes them up, but it can take a boring slide presentation and throw it right in and add a theme to it immediately. So, all right. Other than that,
Did you play it where it filled the whole screen up though? Like, still seeing your menu bars and everything you've done, right?
yeah, because I'm the one that edits, but when people view it, it's actually full screen. And I can tell it in the...
So what if I was doing a presentation like this?
Uh-huh.
Could you put it up there on the
Yeah,
screen?
you can run it as a full screen. So when I go, oh, this one's self-running now, so I'm going to have trouble getting into that. Let's say our sponsorship proposal that we brought in. This bothers me. They always want me to sign in again. So this one here, if I actually, let me think, how can I play? Oh, I could play this. I know how I can do this. I'll just get the link. Okay. And I'll go to another browser and we'll see if we can't make it play the way it's supposed to. I don't know if it's going to recognize me in this one or not. Still going to leave the pieces up there. But, we can always Hit our F11 and run it full screen. All right.
Does it work with the click, or do you have to use those numbers?
So it's normally defaulted to a click. So you have to set your settings to automatically play if you want it to automatically play. And if it's, yeah, you can use arrow keys. And if it's a vertical, you know, you're just going to be scrolling up and down or right and left. Okay. So that's all I had for today. Yeah, you can show one off. How do we do that?
I'll just send you the link.
Oh, okay.
So I put this together about 2 years ago. The company I was working at, they had a policy that if you went on vacation, you had to bring back photos and show everybody what you did on your vacation. So I decided to do my vacation photos as a sway. Like I said, this was about 2 years ago, so sway has come a long way since I made this. But I think I put this together in 45 minutes. Like from just, I had all my photos on the thumb drive or whatever. I said, let's go make a sway. I threw all the photos up there. 45 minutes later, I had this. And it's just a scroll. You scroll down. So there was, I kind of broke it up by day, what we did on each individual day. All the photos that we had for them. And
So you can,
Kind of format it, it allows you to format it around with the white border and all that stuff.
yeah, so I really just picked a theme. I went through about 3 or 4 different themes and then found one and said, oh, this is pretty good. And then just, I don't know how well people, you can see it, you can see like the photos kind of grow in from the bottom. So right now he's actually at the bottom of the web page, but if he scrolls down a little bit more, then it dynamically loads more photos. So this actually like scrolls down, there's probably like 200 photos that are on here or whatever, and it just loads them as needed dynamically.
and I'm just doing a page down. So if I arrow down, it kind of does half screens.
And like I said, I think there's 2 or 3 of them in here as well that are actually videos that we took while we were out as well. You can just play them from directly in that little screen that they're in or whatever. But
Yeah.
yeah, like I said, that was the thing that really impressed me, was that I was able to put something together like this. It looks really nice. It's really professional. And I did it in under an hour. I know it was under an hour that I went from blank templates and that. So it's fun.
But you do think of that as a big long web page that you're just moving, so it's just, you don't think of it as page,
Yeah.
another page, just gotta get out of that mindset.
It's not a PowerPoint. It's not a slide. It's not a chunk of information. It's a flow.
It's a flowing thing.
But what you had there would be good for a newsletter. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Newsletter. What do you think?
Yeah, maybe that's my first thing.
Yeah.
And then down in the bottom right-hand corner as well, it allowed me to break it up into chapters. So that each chapter is a specific day. So if you just want to go see what Thursday looks like, you can just skip directly to that. That's like the newsletter idea. If somebody is interested in a specific part of it, they can just go directly to that part.
Well, I turn the time back over to you, Greg.
Let's get running in.